Okay, this is just a quick video on, as the title said, guns and alcohol don't mix. And the reason I'm making this video is a couple of weeks ago I attended a wedding, and while I was at the wedding, I heard a commotion outside. And this was a beautiful wedding, a very gorgeous setting, and not typically the type of place where you'd hear a ruckus going on. And what happened was I looked outside the back, and there's a beautiful patio overlooking the water, and I saw a little crowd forming. So I went out there to see what it was, and it turned out two of the guests from the wedding were, talking back and forth amongst each other, and, it was escalating into an argument that was going to then quickly turn into a fight. And I saw a couple of people that were sort of backing one guy, and a couple of other people were backing another guy. And they were all younger, I'd say in their 20s, maybe early 30s. And they were sort of encouraging the guys to fight. And it was something stupid, quite frankly. Someone said something to someone's girlfriend or something like that, asked her to dance, and, the guy got offended, and he asked them to step outside. The problem was, the minute I got there, it was obvious both of them were a little drunk. And the next thing was, which why I'm making this video, is one of the guys took off his jacket, which prompted the other guy to take off his jacket. And lo and behold, when he took off his jacket, the guy had, actually not this gun, but he had a Smith & Wesson bodyguard in the waistband holster at the 4 o'clock position. And I was standing behind him, so when he took off his jacket and threw it on the floor, I noticed that he had a gun sticking out, of his waist. So, being the nosy body that I am, I quickly went over to the guy and I tried to de-escalate the situation. And the guy says, "No, I'm going to punch him in his face," and blah, 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 blah. And I said, "Well, I don't think you should do that while you're carrying a gun." And he's like, "How do you know I'm carrying a gun?" I'm like, "It's right there. You're wearing a white shirt and you got a black gun sticking out at on the of your back, inside the waistband, but I could see the gun." And he's like, "Well, I'm not going to shoot him." I'm like, "I don't think you're even going to fight while you're carrying the gun." So with that, again, he was more and more, as I was talking to him, he was clearly inebriated. And what I did was, he was so intoxicated, I just reached down and I pulled the whole holster and gun out of his waist, and I put it in my pocket. And at this time now, more and more people, so it was like 30, 40 people gathering around. And I said, "Okay, if you want to go knock the crap out of each other right now, go right ahead." And to be honest with you, I could care less. If two guys want to use their fists and fight, go ahead. I don't care. I'm not a referee in life. It's not what I do, and that's it. But you're not going to do it while I'm present and you're carrying a gun. And so I took the gun, and his mother actually was there, and I said, "Your son had a gun, and I'm going to hold it until he sobers up." So long story short, they didn't actually get into the fight. They pushed each other, and nothing really happened. No one took a swing. And about 4 hours later, the guy came over to me after drinking several cups of coffee, and he apologized, and I unloaded his gun, and I actually took out the round that was in the chamber. I took out the rounds that were inside the magazine, and I gave him back his gun without any bullets whatsoever. And I said, if you need the ammo, come by my house tomorrow and I'll give you ammo back, which he didn't. And it was just 6 rounds anyway of .380. So here's the point of the story. Don't get drunk and carry a gun. If you're the type of person that you think you're going to go to a social event like a wedding or a party and you got to have a lot of alcohol, I'd recommend you don't carry a gun, because God forbid they're rolling on the floor. Who knows? Maybe if the guy's losing, maybe he would have thought that he needed to grab his gun. In a fist fight, there's no reason for you to grab a gun. If you're losing, lose with dignity, and that's it. We've all gotten in fights, and sometimes we win and sometimes we lose, but you don't have to shoot the person just because you lose a fisticuff. And that's the way it was in the old days, I should say. Nowadays, people do like to shoot each other, and then they go to jail, and one guy goes to a funeral home. So that's a bad thing. Anyway, quick story. Don't drink and carry a gun. If you don't think you're the type of person that can handle it, just leave the gun at home or give it to a loved one, give it to a spouse. Have a safe in your car where you can lock it securely, while you're at an event, and that's it. Although I totally am an advocate of carrying a gun at all times, I don't advocate carrying a gun when you're intoxicated. All right, thanks very much, and have a good night.